It was exactly 4 a.m. when I heard engines outside my home that I thought it was an emergency. Instead, dozens of strangers were pulling into my driveway at MY nightmare with the HOA had just begun. I had never seen any of these people before. Yet they acted like they owned my property. They parked wherever they wanted. Not one of them asked for permission. Then the HOA president walked up with an attitude. She claimed my driveway belonged to the neighborhood. Apparently, she had promised it to her guests. She expected me to simply hand it over. She insisted my property was part of the HOA. She even brought paperwork she barely understood. Unfortunately for her, I knew my property rights, and I wasn't giving up an inch of land. I pointed to the sign at the entrance. IT couldn't have been any clearer. MY property had never belonged to their HOA. But Karen refused to listen. That's when she made the dumbest decision of the night. She called 911 on me. She claimed I was blocking neighborhood access. Little did she know, I had done nothing wrong. The HOA guests started cheering when the police arrived. They thought I was finally going to be arrested. I simply stood there smiling. I knew the truth was on my side. The officers asked for my identification. Then they requested the property records. I handed them everything they needed. That's when things began to change. The documents proved the driveway was entirely mine. There were no HOA easements and no shared access agreements. Nothing supported Karen's claims. The officers informed Karen she had no authority here. Her face instantly turned pale. Her guests suddenly stopped smiling. But the drama wasn't over yet. The officers ordered every vehicle off my property immediately. Karen couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her guests started packing their belongings in embarrassment. The entire situation had backfired on her. Karen tried arguing with the officers. She insisted the HOA had always used my driveway. Unfortunately, tradition isn't the same as ownership. The law was not on her side. The officers reviewed the official county maps. Every boundary line supported my claim. MY property was completely independent. Karen had made a very expensive mistake. Soon, other HOA board members showed up. They were expecting to save Karen. Instead, they walked into a legal disaster. Things were about to get much worse. Thankfully, my security cameras recorded everything. Every vehicle entering my property was documented. Their trespassing was undeniable. Karen had provided all the evidence herself. The officers carefully reviewed the footage. Nobody could deny what happened. Karen's confidence disappeared instantly. Reality had finally caught up with her. Karen received an official trespassing warning. She never expected to become the problem. Moments earlier, she wanted me arrested. Now she was being warned by the police. One by one, the vehicles left my property. Nobody wanted to stay any longer. Their vacation plans were officially ruined. MY driveway was finally quiet again. I thought the nightmare was over. Then my attorney gave me an interesting suggestion. He believed Karen's actions deserved consequences. And I completely agreed. The evidence against the HOA was overwhelming. Trespassing laws are taken seriously in my state. Karen's false police report made matters even worse. Legal action became unavoidable. A few days later, I filed my complaint. The HOA board was officially notified. They suddenly realized this wasn't over. Their problems were just beginning. Their attorney didn't sugarcoat the situation. They were facing serious liability that Karen's reckless behavior had put everyone at risk. Even the board members were furious with her. Board members immediately began blaming Karen. Nobody wanted to share responsibility. Emergency meetings continued for days. Panic quickly spread throughout the HOA. Karen's position became impossible to defend. Residents demanded accountability. She was officially removed as HOA president. Her arrogance finally caught up with her. Today, my driveway is exactly as it should be: quiet, peaceful, and completely private. The HOA learned an unforgettable lesson. Never call 911 because someone refuses to surrender their own property. The court ruled entirely in my favor. The HOA was ordered to pay my legal costs. Their late-night stunt became incredibly expensive. Justice had finally been served. Several residents personally apologized afterward. They admitted Karen had abused her authority. Most had no idea what she had done. Respect was finally restored in the neighborhood. I decided to improve my property security. Additional cameras were installed immediately to MY privacy is worth protecting. I don't take chances anymore. Looking back, I almost laugh at the entire situation. Karen truly believed she owned my property, all because I said one simple word, NO. Property rights matter more than HOA opinions. Always know what your deed actually says. Never surrender what legally belongs to you, and never underestimate the power of saying no. A week later, the neighborhood looked completely different. The HOA board had elected new leadership. Residents wanted transparency and accountability. Karen's reign was finally over. Several neighbors personally stopped by to apologize. They admitted they had been misled by the HOA president. Most of them had never supported